Hello. So we're going to install a single node OpenShift into AWS EC2 instance. We will be using the assisted installer for that, and we will be booting the discovery image through iPXE. So let's just get started. Let's create a new cluster here. Single node OpenShift. Okay, let's generate the ISO image. I need the SSH key. Okay, let's come back here and let's generate the ISO. So for this I will need a web server where I can copy the files that I extract from the ISO. So I will be doing all this in this web server that I have around. You can see it's here. It's a web server that I just created for this purpose. So let's just SSH into it. And let's download the image. From this image we will want to extract the kernel. We'll want to extract the root file system used for live core OS and the initRD image used. And let's copy the images that we need into the root of the web server. And we'll also need the ignition configuration that we need to extract the file from the image. So we will be doing that now. Okay, let's see how everything is here. These are the files that we need. Let's check if we can access them. Just it's a sanity check before starting anything else. Okay, we can access one, so we can access all of them. So let's go and create the instance. So here we need to launch iPXE AMI. That will be, well, we'll see now, but it accepts iPXE script as user data, and it will just execute it. So let's pick up a large enough instance. Let's set it up in the same subnet, just because. And now here, down there, here's where we set the user data, and here's where we need to set the iPXE configuration. So for this, we will need the IP address of the web server. We can get here. Here it is. So let's write the iPXE script. And now let's start loading the kernel and passing arguments to it, like the CoreOS live root file system, URL, ignition configuration file, ignition first boot, and now let's set the initRD file, and let's tell to boot it. I mean, with this configuration, it will just boot the proper files and start the installation. So let's go for the storage. Let's go for the minimum needed, that is 120. Let's put some name to the instance. Okay, and now let's configure a security group. I have already created one when I created the HTTP server that allows traffic between all the instances in the same security group through port 80 for HTTP access and through port 6443 for Kubernetes API. So we can test then the cluster from within the HTTP server. And well, let's just launch it. Now we can go and try to check the screenshot from the instance to see if it booted properly or not. So let's see. Okay, it started and I need the root device, and we can see that here we are already doing stuff. So we should wait until it appears here. Here it is. Let's wait for the proper host name. Okay, so let's proceed. Select the subnet. Meanwhile, we can go and configure DNS mask that I have in the HTTP server. So we can connect to the API later. So here it is. This is the iPXE booted machine. So let's edit DNS mask here. Okay, and now let's see. Everything is okay, so let's proceed here and let's start the installation. Yep. And well, meanwhile this is ongoing. I will just check that I can indeed access the API. Javi Polo iPXE demo redhat.com. Okay, this resolves properly. So let's just wait for the installation. So it seems the cluster is installed already, still in finalizing phase. Okay, yes. And now let's see. Get node. You can see the cluster going on. So well, we have a running cluster.